Hello folks, in today's video we will be talking about Boss Battle Minigames 1, 2 and 3. But let's start off with BB1. BB1 was most likely released around the years 2009 and 2013, and as for how many visits BB1 had, if we take into account the estimated years, it could have been around 100,000 visits all the way up to 1 million visits, and even then that might be a generous amount. As for the gameplay, players must work together in order to defeat a boss using teamwork, tricks, or special rules while dealing with a specific boss. To my knowledge, and there's one YouTube playlist I found made by this guy, there are 9 bosses in BB1. These bosses consist of Bowser, DJ Octavia, Master Hand, King Whomp, King Boo, Wall of Flesh, GLaDOS, King Bomb Bomb, and lastly Isle of Cthulhu. Now, let's get into how these bosses worked. I will definitely get some stuff wrong since I had to watch all 9 of these videos and I didn't even know what was going on half the time. For Bowser, it looks like you would have to pick up dodgeballs around the arena and throw them at him while avoiding his stomps and fire. For DJ Octavia, you would have to pick up splat guns that spawned around the arena and shoot him with them, while avoiding homing bombs and spam. Like bro, this looks like some sort of bullet hell. For Master Hand, you would have to wait for him to get stuck on the floor and whack him with a hammer, while avoiding getting crushed. For King Whomp, you would have to wait for him to crush the ground, and then jump on his back to press the button, resulting in him being damaged. For King Boo, you would have to wait until he is hovering over a spring. Then you would be able to jump on the spring and damage him. For the Wall of Flesh, you would have to press all of the buttons around the arena which would fire a cannon, harming the Wall of Flesh, while avoiding its attacks. For GLaDOS, you would have to fire a plasma thing, which had the chance to kill you, but if you dodged it, the projectile would hit GLaDOS instead. And lastly, for the Eye of Cthulhu, you would have to bait him into hitting a tree. Now, BBM1 got positive feedback from the players since it had a lot of famous and recognisable characters, but at some point, the creator of BBM1, and probably a charred corpse at the time of this video, decided to create BBM2, a sequel to BBM1, with new bosses, new gameplay, and a new everything. The main difference between BBM1 and BBM2 is the gameplay. Instead of each boss having unique ways of being damaged, all players have weapons that can be used to attack the boss. BBM2 might have been released around late 2014 and early 2016. And as for the visits, I think it's safe to say that it had a couple million visits, since this was around the time Roblox was getting more popular. In BBM2, there were 15 bosses. These consist of Eggman's Battle Drill, Bowser, PT Piranha, Colossus, Blizzard, Mecha Pinkie Pie, Goon Boss, Plush Trap, Wither, Meta Knight, Mother Brain, Buried Alive, GLaDOS, Darkstar, and Sans. Now, we'll be looking into how some of these bosses worked. Eggman's drill would drive into a wall, sending boulders everywhere that players had to avoid. Then, after drilling into the wall, he would pop out of the ground, being open for players to attack him before drilling back into a wall. In Bowser's battle, you would have to run away from him while he spews fireballs and does Bowser things. Next up, we have PT Piranha Plant. He would fly around the arena, then he would land on the ground and start spitting a bunch of shit. I could have made a Hulk 2 joke, but that would probably be called a slur if I did, so I won't. Then he would fly around the arena again. Next up, we have Colossus. During his battle, you would have to bait him into crashing into a pillar, which is when his weak spot would appear. Then you would have to reset the process all over again. He would bounce around the room, and he would also be able to make eyes fall from the ceiling. Next we have Mecha Pinkie Pie. She would be able to spit some blue acidic bullshit and breathe fire like a dragon. Now we have Goon Boss. He would be able to run and walk around the arena, so using ranged weapons are the best. He would also be able to jump in the air over and over again, so watch out for getting stomped. Next up we have the Wither. He would just fly around shooting explosive skulls like in Minecraft. Next we have the Meta Knight. He would be able to slash and jump that would make shockwaves. He would also be able to spin, creating tornadoes. Next we have Mother Brain. She would be able to jump around the map, creating shockwaves and fire bombs that players would have to avoid. Now we have Buried Alive. He would mainly go in a straight line before burying himself underground and popping out somewhere else. He would also be able to summon a wave of hands. Now we have GLaDOS again. This time she has toxic air around her and missile turrets you have to avoid. Next up we have Darkstar. He just dashes around the map and charges up every now and again. There's nothing real special about him. And lastly, we have Sans, who uses his ghastly Gaster Blasters to smite players. Also, fun fact, if you don't attack him in the intro, the round ends, since he only attacks out of self-defense. Okay, so while editing, I forgot to put Plush Trap in, so I'll quickly go over him. For Plush Trap, you would have to get away when he's ready to attack, whatever that means. But it probably means you have to get away when he's in the middle of the room. So enjoy that, I guess. I'm eating chicken right now. Now, just like with BBM 1 and 2, Net decided to create another BBM game, being BBM 3. This one has much better graphics and a new boss system. This time, when a boss reaches 50% HP, it becomes enraged, becoming much stronger, and some bosses even have a second phase, and some of the bosses even talk to you. Now, BBM might have been made between late 2016 and early 2018, and definitely had at least 5 to 10 million visits. Now, let's get into the bosses. We have Flowey the Flower, the Ender Dragon, Bowser, Metal Sonic, who is cool as shit, the Eater of Worlds, Star Dreamer, Dreadwing, Duke Fishon, Solgana and Lua, how do you pronounce that shit, Star-Lord, King DDD, White Pumpkin, Dr. Eggman, and Discord. First up, we have Flowey the Flower. He will mainly just throw piss poor pellets at you, and at 50% HP, he will throw pellets faster. When he loses all his HP, he will piss off and turn into his second phase, a giant dinosaur Photoshop thing, being much stronger. Next, we have the Ender Dragon. She would breathe purple fire at you, and she could heal by the crystals, meaning they have to be destroyed. At 50% HP, she would become faster. Now we have Bowser. He will mainly just shoot fireballs at you and try to jump on you. At 50% HP, he will become much stronger and faster, along with creating shockwaves with each jump. Next up, we have Metal Sonic. He will fly around and shoot plasma balls at you. At 50% HP, he will fly around and shoot much faster, along with having stronger plasma balls. Next up, we have Eater of Worlds. Big worm that squirms around, and at 50% HP, a second worm will appear. Next we have Stardream, or Nova. He will shoot missiles and lasers at the player, along with being able to charge like a fucking maniac. And at 50% HP, he will shoot much stronger lasers and shoot many more missiles. In his second phase, he turns into an entire fucking planet, what the fuck? In this form, he shoots big purple laser beams from his eyes and number blocks. Now we have Dreadwing. He will be able to shoot blue balls at players and crush them with his UFO. For his second phase, he will just be attacking faster and move faster. Now we have Duke Fission. He charges and does water-based attacks. When he gets to 50% HP, he gets much stronger attacks. Now we have Sol Galileo and Soon and Luna, how you pronounce that shit. The Lion Sun thing will do sun/light based attacks, while Luna will do dark energy attacks, if that makes sense. At 50% HP, the Sun Lion will promptly fuck off and Luna will get much stronger. Now we have Star-Lord. He will breathe fire and dive underground. There are also these fucking Beyblade things. At 50% HP, he will lose his body and become a floating head. For King DDD, he will swing his hammer and fall over like a dumbass. At 50% HP, he becomes much stronger and faster, along with being able to perform a spin attack. Now we have White Pumpkin. He is able to slash at players with her axe, and she is able to charge. She is also able to plant TNT. When under 50% HP, she just becomes much faster. Next up, we have Eggman. Eggman is able to shoot a shotgun-like blast and missiles from his little turret on his flying machine. When he is under 50% HP, he will move and shoot much faster. And lastly, we have Discord. He will shoot down balls of purple energy. I think that's all he does, but when he reaches under 50% HP, he shoots much stronger purple balls, and all being able to block your screen with stupid fucking balloons. Right, now that we got all the bosses out of the way, why did BBM game become so popular in the first place? It's pretty obvious. Ever since BBM 1, the game was unique for its time, and it had a lot of recognisable characters. But why did all three games get shut down? Well, all three games had copyrighted characters like Bowser, Sonic, Pokemon, and MLP. And presumably, the game was making money, so Roblox had to shut it down quick. And if any of these games or models look familiar, that's because Nat also made Fluttershy's Lovely Home, a nice and peaceful game about going to Fluttershy's home and hanging out, and nothing else. Someone also made a remake of the game with better models, so you can experience the fun, the horror, the fright, the nostalgia, the bowel movements. Now we have Pelico, one of Nat's old friends. I did an interview with him, and his answers will be voiced by the Goober. What do you think of BBM 1, 2 and 3?
I really enjoy them, and they're a huge inspiration to me.
Out of all the BBM games, what is your favourite and which one do you like the least?
2 is my absolute favorite, but unfortunately, being the most polished, I wasn't the biggest fan of 3, due to the lack of content.
How was your personal experience with BBM?
A huge inspiration for me as a developer that I can hope still be seen in my current projects.
Is there anything you would like to add?
Am I allowed to plug Little Dude Labyrinth? Go play Little Dude Labyrinth. It's heat.
Well, that brings us to the end of the video. I don't think there's any more to talk about besides how fun BBM was. If you have any personal experiences with BBM, or you know anything that I don't, please leave a comment down below. Anyways, thank you for watching.